This is the end of the Las Vegas trip. I got to exhibit for one of my clients on one of the biggest longevity and anti-aging trade shows in all of the United States. And I was also able to go around and find new exciting events in Las Vegas, as well as some really nice exhibitors to highlight. I want to disclose that this is not a paid sponsorship by that company. The company is called Brain Armor. This is my own separate blog, but I was exhibiting at them at this event. You'll see them pop up a couple times. The main point was to exhibit at a small 10 by 10 booth at this event to sort of promote this company as a proper supplement for the reasons of brain health and anti-aging. I was also able to go about the trade show floor and get some great content and sort of videos and pictures of some other really interesting exhibitors and some great booth design. Due to the timing of the event, I was able to get there early enough to try to explore some other expos and events on top of the one I was actually exhibiting at. And of course, get to experience that Las Vegas excess and weirdness, so there's always a little bit of stories about that too. Let us start right from the beginning. Because I really wanted to make this a trip, I was able to get there kind of a day early on my own expense. I ended up staying at the Link Hotel, which was based around the Flamingo and was actually pretty decent considering it's pretty old, right? Now, walking into the casino, walking into the hotel, I already noticed there was a ton of people in like cowboy gear and cowboy hats. That's also because it was the NFR, the National Finals Rodeo, being held in Las Vegas. What was also really interesting is that they were also still dismantling everything from the Las Vegas Grand Prix for F1. Ferrari didn't win, but next year we got Lewis Hamilton, so let's see how that goes. As for the F1 Grand Prix itself, I was getting some insight by the locals that it's a really annoying event to be held in Las Vegas because it takes so long to set up and so long to actually dismantle that. People start getting frustrated pretty quickly, right? Because I was a day early, I wanted to do a little exploration, and one thing I really wanted to check out was Omega Mart. For those who don't know, Omega Mart is this really weird, surreal like art installation outside of like Las Vegas at this crazy art museum. It's got this crazy story, sort of ARG elements, and it looks like just a normal grocery store with some kind of weird, surreal products. But then you can like sneak into the backside and it's just this surreal art exhibit with all these like crazy factories and just cool, really like art pieces. You can also upgrade your pass to kind of get the backstory, learn more about it, follow like the ARG and get the full like experience of Omega Mart. But I honestly just wanted to check it out just to kind of get it out of my system because I love like the weird like videos they do on YouTube. Like I thought it's really cool. Like I was really excited to go. I've been wanting to go for a while and it did not disappoint. So now it's the day of setup. Now, me and my partner, we were gonna sort of set up closer to like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, which gave me the full morning to do some more stuff around Las Vegas. And believe me, I had a plan. Before the trip, I knew of 3 expos and trade shows that were happening in Las Vegas around this time. The first was like Groundwater Week, all based around like groundwater, environmentalism. Then you also had the Air Show Conference, which was all about, of course, air shows and everything like that. And then lastly, there was Cowboy Christmas. Of those 3, I knew that Groundwater was going to be the most difficult to get into. You had to be a member of the organization or expo tickets or it's really expensive, so I wasn't prioritizing that one. I knew Cowboy Christmas was going to be easy to get into. It was happening alongside NFR and all I had to do was hop on the monorail to the Las Vegas Convention Center and just get in. So that was a given. But the last event, the Air Show Convention, that is one I knew was also going to be difficult, but I had to try. So I found out that the event was happening at the Paris Hotel and Convention Center. And straight up, I just walked into the ticket and info office. I knew deep down I wasn't going to get away with this, but if I could talk to somebody, like talk to one of the organizers, I can see if there was a way to sort of work something out, right? And so yeah, I actually did find one of the main organizers. She did actually allow me to get onto the expo floor, but I was not allowed to do videos and I was not allowed to do pictures. One thing that was really cool is that they had a booth there for like Royal Canadian Air Force, and they were sort of co-exhibiting with the snowbirds, which I thought was awesome. Basically every exhibit and booth was its sort of own independent air show, or perhaps maybe anything like associated with like safety or regulation for those shows themselves, so they can all run and put on amazing events and excellent shows, but still adhere to like proper safety and proper regulation. Awesome stuff. My goal next year is to actually reach out to them beforehand to see whether or not I can actually be allowed to sort of get a couple of videos. Hopefully that by then I'll build a little bit more of a following or have more like legitimacy that I can back up so they can give me the thumbs up. So I only really spent like an hour or so there before I had to head off to like the next event. So at that point there, I just jumped on the monorail from Paris and rode it all the way to the Las Vegas Convention Center. That was my first time on the Las Vegas monorail, but honestly, I was able to figure it out and it's a pretty easy trip. So at the Las Vegas Convention Center, there were 2 events going on. One of them was actually more of like a hunting, like rifles type of event, which would have been awesome to get into, but I already sort of had my eyes on this first event. But if I had more time, I would have tried to go to that and explore that as well. The other was Cowboy Christmas, which of course, as I mentioned, happening alongside National Finals Rodeo. And the best way I can describe it is pretty much the Canadian Royal Agricultural Fair, but on horse steroids. It was massive. It leaned a lot more into like craftsmanship than like, let's say like farm animals and agricultural, because with NFR, it was a lot more like with the rodeo. So there was an equestrian element, but it wasn't the same as agricultural show where it was more like, let's say showmanship. It was rodeo themed. Most of the exhibits I saw were like 10 by 30s, 10 by 20s, like big booths, all like craftsmanship, like clothing or like home decor. Selling everything from custom like drinking tabs, custom like cowboy hats, saddles, like, as I said, it's cowboy and outdoors themed. I only had like an hour or so to sort of go around to the booths, but I could have easily spent pretty much most of the day there. As I said, the exhibits here were amazing. Very hardcore America themed. I know that sounds oddly stereotypical and vague, but showing some of the pictures there, follow me on Instagram to see like exactly how America it was, but fantastic event. Wish I had more time there, but I did have more things to do that week. And that leads us to A4M itself. If you're interested to see how that event went, I got a part 2 coming up soon, hopefully before the literal end of the year, where we'll explain what it's like to go to the biggest longevity fest in all of America. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and be sure to check that out when it drops.